Silvia from My Superfoods, and we realized that a lot of people have asked us over the years how we met and how we got the company started. So we thought we would tell you the story.
When my twins were about a year old, I started thinking about starting a baby food company. Initially, I wanted to spend more time at home with them, and I wanted to leave corporate America. And so I toyed around with this idea. And one day I was at Katie's house for a play date when our kids were toddlers, maybe 13 months old or so. And I mentioned it to her, and we sat there and just brainstormed like different flavor combinations for a while. And that was pretty much it. And then after that, I think we started just
that night. I was a stay-at-home mom. Right. I planned to be a stay-at-home mom. That was what I was going to do, and I was going to be super stay-at-home mom. But what was happening in the background of that is that I was looking for something more, but I was sort of jamming myself into that role. So when Silvia wanted to talk to me about this business and food, which was very interesting to me and something we had already bonded over as moms, making food for our kids, I was having a blast without even really thinking about it becoming anything else. So she left and sent me a text that night.
Right, that was that
because
night.
The plan was you were going to start something. And
right.
I was just like, that's cool. Congratulations. I'm going to be at the PTA in a couple of years.
I didn't know how I was going to start something, but I was going to.
So she sent me a text and said, do you want to do this with me? And I literally turned to my husband and said, look at this text. What is she talking about? I have no idea. So I don't remember not responding, but Silvia remembers that I did not.
She never said yes.
I think
she just didn't say like anything, and so I said, all right, let's meet for coffee tomorrow or something and talk about it more.
The backstory is Sylvia's in sales at the time, so she knew what she was doing.
And so we met for coffee at this coffee shop in the West Village, and the tables were this big, and the coffee cups were also this big. We had these little notebooks out, and we started brainstorming like names and concepts, and I think we very quickly realized that the baby food space was saturated. There was a lot of people doing a really good job with baby food, so maybe we should focus on like the next set, which would have been like toddler, preschool, elementary, which is eventually what we did.
And that's also where our kids were. And so we were because being moms of twins, I mean, I never left my apartment unless I had to the first year. So as they grew into snack foods and as we started going to the park more, I was looking for more options that weren't carrots and hummus, because I wasn't opposed to buying packaged goods as long as they were really great.
Yeah.
So we realized that, our little children who were approaching 2 years old had very strong opinions and wanted variety. Right. So while there were great companies and still are great companies making snacks for small children, there should be a bunch.
Right.
Because in the conventional food space, there are a million, but in the organic space, especially at that time, there weren't that many. So we knew there was room for a lot of great options.
But the funny part of all this is that neither one of us has a background in food, and so we literally had to learn the industry from the ground up. We knew absolutely nothing about where to start, where to go. Katie spent hours at coffee shops trying to figure out trademark law to get our name trademarked, and we met with, just through connections, illustrators to have our characters designed, and it just slowly kind of came together. I mean, over the years, we've had actual branding companies approach us and ask us, like, who does all your branding? And it's like, we do. We actually did all of that. It just came together piece by piece. And we were just talking about this morning how it's just serendipitous how it all led us down this path, because there were so many things that happened in the interim that could have derailed us and could have been the reason why one of us backed away. And we often say we never would have come this far without both of us together. Yeah. In hindsight, I would have never been able to do this on my own. But we often talk about there were so many things. About 4 weeks after we decided to launch this company, I found out I was pregnant with my third child, and I had 15-month-old toddlers. And I was like, how am I going to do this,
And she thought she had an ulcer for like that month that we started. She kept texting me like, we should meet tomorrow. I think I have an ulcer, so I'm going to stop at the doctor.
And that ulcer was a child.
Yeah, he's 4 now.
And I was, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I never once, I remember calling Katie and saying, listen, I'm pregnant, but I'm still going to do this. Like, don't worry about me. I'm going to be fine. And I did it. It took a village, family and friends and babysitters and preschools and all that stuff, but we did it. Even though there were many reasons along the way that we could have said, this is too much.
Yeah, and you just, it's very cliche, but we just kept going. We just kept, taking the next step because we didn't know what we were doing. It was always one Google search away or one phone call to say, hey, do you know anyone in this world who knows anything about anything? We started with the first product that we thought we were going to make. We started calling packaging companies, and they said, we're completely overwhelmed, call me next year. Okay, so we, back to the brainstorming session, and we came up with our second product, which is now our My Super Snack Granola Bites, and that started with a very basic granola bar recipe that I found. So I would mix batches while my daughters were in their high chairs every morning. And once I learned that I shouldn't be making large trays, I should be making small trays of something that we're each going to take one bite of. And I went to Whole Foods and got every flour I could find, and I just kept trying different things. And so Sylvia lived like a 10-minute walk, double stroller walk away. So I would make 1 or 2 batches, and I would walk over to her apartment, and I would leave the samples with her doorman, and then I would say, okay, I just dropped something off, like, get it later and let me know what you think. So I would do this every morning, sometimes twice a day when we were right in the thick of it. And so Sylvia calls me one day laughing, saying, so my doorman thinks that I'm a drug dealer. And I hope that this wasn't a confession, but she said that the last package that I left, it must have been in I don't remember using brown bags, but they were unmarked bags. And so he's like, your friend is here again? And she dropped off some more baked goods or whatever.
In her bag, wink, wink. Almost like I'm on to you. You pretend like you're this mom with kids, but you're getting deliveries of unmarked paper bags. I'm like, seriously?
Right. It's it would be a great cover, right? Like mom of twins. But not that I'm advocating anything. But it also, I think because we, going back to me not knowing that I wanted to do something and Sylvia knowing that she wanted out of her very big career, but also wanted something. There's something to be said for just, I got very lucky in being asked to do this and being given the opportunity to think about doing this because I had kind of really jammed myself in the stay-at-home mom role. There's something really important about just knowing what you want to do. There's this huge war between stay-at-home moms and working moms and all these, and I sometimes read these articles, I'm like, that's not true, but it really is often true. There's this big battle going on, but it's like, if you find something that makes you happy and you want to be a mom and do these 8 other things, then everyone wins. Because I wasn't always the best mom I could be on those long afternoons where I just wanted to be doing something. And I'm a way better mom now, and I have a very busy, big life, but that's okay. If I was, doing something that wasn't, for me, the best option, then it wouldn't work out for any of us.
So if you're watching because you're thinking of starting something, our advice would be just go for it. Like Katie said, you're one Google search away from taking the first step. Educate yourself. Go to a trade show in your industry. Ask everyone if they have contacts in the industry that you want to do something in. Somebody knows somebody. I've actually read recently that the world used to be 6 degrees of separation, but now we're more like 1.5 to 2 degrees of separation because of Facebook alone. So you are 1 to 2 people away from somebody who knows a lot about what you want to do. So just put yourself out there.
And people are very willing to help. I mean, I felt like the first trade show we did, you walk around and you meet people and you talk, and I thought, this place is really nice. I mean, I come from advertising, Sylvia comes from banking, and not to say that I had a bad experience, I had a great experience, but it wasn't like, come on over here and let me tell you all my secrets about how to do this, which is how the natural food space is. I think there's a lot of, we're all trying to do good things, so let's help each other and work together to make this whole food system better. But any entrepreneur has inside of them what it feels like to start. And so when someone comes to us and says, hey, can we sit down? We always say yes. Because a lot of people sat down with us and gave us great advice on what not to do, which is way more valuable sometimes than what to do, because every path is very different. But just getting started and moving forward and believing in whatever your idea is is the hardest thing you're going to do. It's not, you know, getting the trademark or finding the food scientist. It's actually starting.
Yeah, absolutely making the commitment to do it, to wake up every day and be like, I'm going to do this piece today, and I'm going to do that piece tomorrow, and I'm going to keep going. In the face of good news, bad news, whatever, you're just going to keep going.
Yeah, because there'll be a lot of both. There'll be a lot of bad news and a lot of good news.
So anyway, we hope that was helpful to you.
And we'll talk to you soon.